Welcome back to Berkeley Local. My name is Chris Weigel, and today we're interviewing Nauk Do from Vibe Credit Union. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
To this very warm studio on a warm July day. Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
All right, so Vibe Credit Union is located, has a primary location in Berkeley.
Yes, sir.
Right. And what can you tell me about an overview of Vibe Credit Union.
Thank you so much. Vibe Credit Union, previously known as Telecom, started in 1936, back in the Michigan Bell days, for the telecommunications employees, and that's how it started. And then in 2012, we just changed our name to Vibe as a tribute to those that worked in the telecommunications industry. And then 2019, we joined partnership with Oakland County Credit Union to now have the 16 branches that we have, serving over 70,000 members, over $1 billion in assets. So we have more to help more people.
Wow. Okay. So a lot of people do banking. A lot of people do credit unioning. Well, what's the difference?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. The primary difference is that banks are for-profit, owned by the shareholders. Credit unions are nonprofit for the shareholders, which are the members. So $5 sharehold in your savings entitles you to be a shareholder within the credit union. And we are, again, nonprofit based in Michigan. We do have our online presence. So anyone in the lower peninsula of Michigan can join us as long as you either live, worship, or live, work, or worship in the lower peninsula of Michigan, or be referred by someone who is a current member.
So banks, commercial banks, you were saying before we began, covered by FDIC federal insurance.
Yes.
Credit unions have similar protections, but they're different. What is it?
Yes, they're called the NCUA, National Credit Union Association. And unbeknownst to some, actually, they were already open way before the FDIC. Again, for the same protection level of $250,000, up to $250,000 per account per ownership, in case the credit union goes under.
So, what are some of the services that a credit union offers compared to a commercial bank?
Everything.
Okay.
We even do personal loans that some commercial banks don't even offer anymore. So we have like RV loans, personal signature loans, and then traditional auto and home mortgage loans as well. But those really basic accounts that a lot of banks don't want to even touch anymore are those that some of us still need, like a motorcycle loan or like an RV loan, maybe just like a small personal loan for home improvement. But
when you say the smaller accounts, the commercial banks aren't interested, are you referencing like fees that commercial banks might charge or some of those?
Well, I think it's because of the risk that may be involved in some of those. And so that's why we still offer those signature loans, because there's no collateral. So.
How does the fee structure for someone who goes into a credit union compare to a commercial bank, like overdraft, or do you guys charge money if you have only $5 in an account, or what kind of fees are there?
Well, I think that our fees are pretty comparable because, again, even though we're nonprofit, we still have to pay the bills.
Yeah, right.
We still have to pay
right.
for our building and our staff, and so our fees can be more reasonable. But also the fact that we are more community oriented. We're more. We're just not about customer A, B, and C. We're concerned about a member at a time and their particular circumstances. So I think we can be a little bit more understanding and lenient on a given circumstance.
Not so much obsessed about shareholder profit at the end of a quarter or something like that?
Yes, and we're all about the community, which we're about to talk about as well, about how we're so involved in each of our communities.
So what brought you to Vibe Credit Union?
Well, that's an interesting question. I used to work at one of those big banks as a branch manager and a bank, and it was all about, how I performed month over month with our numbers. Mm-hmm. And so when my customers start to tell me, "Now, we love you, we just don't love who you represent," it started me to wonder what it is that they mean, and they all seem to love their credit unions. And so I had never known about a credit union prior to that, and so that's what brought me to Vibe Credit Union. And I started there at our Birmingham location, which was an E-Center, which is more of a more of an express center compared to one of our traditional full-service branches like Berkeley.
Okay.
Our E-Centers have every capability that a full-service branch has, except we don't have tellers with cash drawers. So I couldn't walk into an E-Center and withdraw $1,000, from a teller. Right. But we do have the ATMs that give you the denomination choice. So because we don't have those cash drawers, our ATMs give you a choice of denominations in increments of 5s. So when you go to withdrawal from our Royal Oak and Ferndale ATMs, it gives you a choice of how many 5s, how many 10s, how many 20s, and how many 50s.
That's very nice. Yeah,
Yes,
usually the
gives you an
ATM
option.
just gives me whatever it prefers.
Correct.
That's good to know.
Yes.
So you were at a commercial bank and you heard customers talking about credit unions, and then you found Vibe Credit Union.
Yes.
Why did you choose Vibe? Was it in the area? Are you in the area?
I am, yes. So
Okay.
I started in Birmingham.
Okay.
And then when we decided to look for a new location for our next E-Center, I was able to help open our Ferndale location. And so we closed down our Birmingham location, and then now we have our Ferndale location. It's also an E-Center. And I also have the privilege of now being full-time in our marketing department as my current role as the community engagement specialist. So I have the privilege of engaging with my community at events. I represent my company on a couple of boards, promoting our scholarships and our financial education. So I'm just really thrilled to be able to do that for Vibe.
So you're involved with the opening of the Ferndale branch, but I also understand that the Berkeley branch is one of the busiest. How long has it been there? Where is it in Berkeley?
Yes, thank you so much. We've
Yeah.
been serving the Berkeley community since 2007 on the corner of Coolidge and Earlmont. Our Berkeley branch is, like you said, one of our busiest, and our members are so loyal. Every time I'm at an event, they just cannot rave more about our branch manager, Tamara Powell, who was actually my direct supervisor when I was in Birmingham and Ferndale. She's been with Vibe for over 20 years.
Wow.
That's amazing, right?
I think is that?
Yeah,
her?
that's Tamara right there
Very good.
with a couple of our members who raved about her. So she's very involved. She's also the treasurer for the Chamber of Commerce in
And
Berkeley.
where is she? I think there's something in the background.
Yep, so there she is in the green shirt. And then our new branch, our Berkeley office actually had a facelift a couple years ago. And there it is right there.
And is that inside the same branch, or is that?
No, this photo is actually from one of my financial education collaborations with the Chamber and the Public Library. So I was speaking on the topic of ID theft and bank fraud and how we can help our community residents, business owners, and community at large to protect themselves from being a victim of ID theft or bank fraud.
So what are some of the services the credit union offers to do that, to protect people?
Yes,
Like,
thank
what do
you. So we have fraud protection on our credit cards and debit cards. So our third-party fraud company, they, if they see something out of the ordinary, like for example, I primarily stay in Michigan.
Right.
But if all of a sudden my credit card sees all kinds of transactions ranging from Florida to North Carolina to New York, they may see that as out of ordinary daily transactions, and they will temporarily block transactions from coming through until they can reach me to confirm that those are mine. So that's one of the things that we do to protect. And also we just give our members really information about scams that we hear about all the time that come and go. Nowadays with the prevalence of the internet, yes, it's very convenient to be able to do shopping online, but also the fraudsters are online.
Is there
as
any
well.
current thing to look out for that people should be aware of that you gues are telling people about? Is there
Yes, thank you.
What's one of the latest ones?
There's always the one where they send you a letter saying, "Hey, congratulations, Chris! You won $9,500. Here's the check. They send it to you, overnight. It's
Right.
really important and very official looking, and then they just ask you to, deposit it, and then just send us back, 1% of that for administrative fees.
Yeah.
But unbeknownst to a lot of people, that check is completely fraud. You deposit it. You become fully responsible for that check. You send away
Right.
a portion of that. That's not going to
gone.
come back. Right.
Yeah.
And then you're fully responsible for whatever that check when it comes back uncollectible.
So what does the credit union, like for some of these types of fraudulent things, what services do you offer to the people that are victims
Well,
of it? What do
you know, even if you're not a member, we
Right.
advise you, if you're not expecting something,
Right.
I mean, sure, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, but we would love to get a check in the mail, right?
Right.
For that amount. But if you're not sure, just bring it in. It doesn't hurt, right, for us to check it over and look at it. And because, again, we see more of this than a common consumer would, I would imagine, on a daily basis.
Has your credit union had to deal with anything related to cryptocurrency over the last couple of years?
You know, I'm not in the field in our branches to see that face-to-face with our members, but I don't hear about it either, so it might not be as prevalent. But that's why I do these financial education classes with our police departments, because they probably see it more than I would, perhaps. And they also have lots of different tips to prevent you from being a victim. For example, you know, people still try to call you, or they want to, hey, Chris, you know what? Let me remote into your computer and fix something for you, or update something for you. Oh my gosh! Once they do that, they're in they're in their system.
Control, yeah.
So the police department, public safety department are invaluable in that respect to help us to educate our consumers as well.
So you said the Vibe offers educational classes in conjunction with the police department, and it looks like that was something at the library we looked at.
Yes.
So tell me about the classes. Is there a schedule? How do people get involved?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It just depends on how, when myself and the police department and the chambers, whoever else is collaborating on this, can schedule it in. And we just try to give ample time to post it and to promote it on our social media, through the Parks and Rec, through the library, wherever it may be, for people to see it. And so it doesn't happen on a regular basis, it's just whenever. So the one we did at Berkeley was last fall, and then I have one coming up with the West Bloomfield Police Department coming up this summer.
And who's eligible to take the classes? Just members?
Anyone who would like to come. It's completely free to the public. Again, we just want to get this information out to as many people as possible.
Very good. So Tamara was treasurer, or is treasurer, of the Chamber of Commerce, the Berkeley Chamber of Commerce. And you guys are up. I've seen you because I was at Art Fest a couple weeks ago. I saw your tent, which I believe...
Art Bash, yes. That was on Coolidge.
So you were the main sponsor of Art Fest, or one of the larger sponsors of Art Fest?
Yes, we are one of the very regular sponsors, continued support. Yeah, and then this Saturday is Art Fest, so they closed down 12 Mile. Last month was Art Bash.
Sorry,
no problem.
Fest,
I know.
Fest and Bash. I've always had those two. They just like interchangeable.
Yes.
Yes, because Fest is
This Saturday.
sidewalk chalk, and
Yes.
Bash were the tents on 12 Mile. This one's gonna be at Coolidge, right?
Yes.
I believe it or not, I've been to all of these events multiple times. But yes, so why is it important for Vibe to support all these Berkeley events?
Oh my gosh, we feel it's so important to be able to give back to as many community partners as possible. So the Chamber is a huge community partner, the library, schools, Parks and Rec, nonprofit or other nonprofit organizations. We support, for example, I'm trying to think offhand a couple of other things we do. I serve on the board of the Sterling Heights Community Foundation, where we support, again, education and scholarships and things like that. So I think it's just an avenue, a way for us to connect with as many people as possible, and to be able to give back. So that's what we're all about. That's what credit unions are all about. And you're not going to see, our name on the ballpark.
Right.
But we will be there to support a nonprofit organization, let's say at Ferndale Pride. We are the pet adoption agency sponsor. So every year we buy another booth space for a pet adoption agency to be able to help them with their mission. And this year was up in Clarkston.
I believe on
Canine Companions.
On the Vibe Facebook page, I believe we saw photos of that booth because there were pets, dogs specifically, enjoying a photo session.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yes, it was Canine Companions.
Right.
Yes, Canine Companions Rescue Center. We sponsored their booth at the Ferndale Pride this year. It was a lot of fun.
Very good. It says here that Vibe is a great place to work. Now, I believe it because it's written here, but tell me, is Vibe a great place to work? And
Oh
if
gosh,
so,
can't you
why?
tell? I'm just so passionate about what I do.
Yeah.
I am so thrilled that I'm able to do what I do and to meet as many people as possible. And the culture at Vibe is just one of huge support and just camaraderie, and we're just all about the community. And there's no egos. You know,
Right.
we check our egos at the door because we all are in it for the same reason, for our members. And our CEO, Alan McMorris, who he was also featured in one of the photos when we had our grand reopening ribbon cutting at our Berkeley office
There you go.
2 years ago. There we are.
Yeah.
Alan McMorris in the blue jacket there, and then Mayor Dan Turbrack
Yep.
in the orange t-shirt, or orange shirt next to
Yes.
him. Huge advocate for our members and our everything that we need to do for our members in our community. So again, I know I myself love working here, and I think that it's really important that comes out, evidently for our members, and they see it every day.
Was your experience common for people that worked in commercial banking to find their way to credit unions, nonprofit, or was this a unique journey? Or?
I don't think it's a uncommon thing.
Okay.
Because again, I was doing it for so long, but I didn't know any better until I felt like I was a number myself
Right.
as an employee. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm a true advocate for what a credit union stands for.
What is the overview of credit unions in the country versus banks? Are credit unions in general growing compared to the number of commercial banks, or is it steady, or is it declining? What do you think?
Well, gosh, we didn't get a chance to pull up those numbers, Chris, but
Just in general.
I think we would be surprised
Yeah.
that we are very strong. And a lot of people, again, don't understand maybe the concept of it. And because of the sister network of the shared branching system.
Yeah, so what is that?
Yes. So all credit unions belong to we fall under the umbrella of the shared branching concept, which then sometimes they're reciprocal and sometimes they're not. So certain credit unions, you can walk in and access your Vibe account.
Even if you're not a member of that
Correct.
credit union?
It's
Okay.
called a shared branch. So I can walk into, let's say, another credit union
Another
and
firm, yeah.
pull up my Vibe account, and I can transact on it as if I was in a Vibe branch. If it's reciprocal, you could walk into a Vibe and do the same. Unfortunately, again, we don't have that capability right now, but that can extend to over 30,000 branches across the country.
So Vibe is working on maybe building some of those relationships?
Yes,
up?
we're working constantly improving our systems for the better of our members. For example, we just so our online and our app, our phone app, is very convenient for our members to be able to access and transact with their phone. We were able to also recently do the snapshot, take
Yeah,
a picture
of
of
the
your
check.
check,
Yep.
and then also add external accounts. So I can transfer funds from my Vibe account to another Vibe member, but now I can also transfer to my own account, let's say if it was at a commercial bank or outside of Vibe account. So we're constantly looking to improve our systems and our processes for the benefit of our members.
Now I'm reaching into my deep banking knowledge. What is the status overall of safety deposit boxes? Do they exist in 2022?
So interesting. We did have a lot of safety deposit branches that had them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because they take up so much space.
Right, yeah.
Yes. And we just didn't feel that it was used. We always had a lot of vacancies.
Okay.
So we did streamline. Only some of our certain branches have them now, and I couldn't
Okay.
tell you which they are offhand. But I think that safety deposit boxes, like personal safety deposit boxes,
Yeah.
are becoming more, like in-house
Okay.
safe boxes are becoming more popular. And then that way the members don't have to go and then
Right.
find the keys.
Yeah, the dual key.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I think people are just able to have their own now.
You mentioned your mobile app can do deposit of paper checks. And
Yes.
here at CMN, we receive payment in a wide variety of both electronic, cash, and paper checks. And I'm using various things. I was going to say, do you notice, is there a decline in paper checks overall with your customers, or is it still very prominent as far as using it and getting it? Or?
Still very prominent.
Right, yeah.
We still get a lot of checks mailed in.
Right? Oh, mailed. Okay.
Yes, mailed
Wow.
into our branches from members who live out of state even.
Okay.
So
And you can stay a member even if you
Yes.
leave Michigan.
Oh, absolutely, because
Okay.
of the share branch capability.
Right,
That
yes.
let's say we have a snowbird living in Florida,
Okay.
they can go into a share branch down there and still do their transacting, and then come up to Michigan in summer. Absolutely. So yes, I don't think that we can underestimate all the different avenues that our members find most convenient for them.
Right.
So brick and mortar buildings will always be there. Online will always be there, and mailing your checks in the mail will also be there.
Do you ever get a lot of people bringing in a tremendous amount of coins, like they've stored over the years?
Oh, yes. We still have coin machines as well. Yes. So, yes, people do that. Oh, and then also, speaking of, holding on to something for a number of years, we also support the Oakland County Sheriff's Department Shred Days.
What is that?
So, they bring in a big old shred truck. Mm-hmm. And we financially support this every year. They have usually 3 dates a year throughout the county, so people that can bring in documents to shred.
Okay.
So you don't have to have your own shredder at home if you you have one.
And is this do members come in or is
Anybody.
It anybody? And do you have to pay?
No,
Oh,
totally
okay.
free.
Wow, very
So again, I wasn't prepared to this, but
Oh, that's okay.
but yes, they have them lined up in, let's say, a park or the farmers market
Right.
in Waterford there, by our county campus location, and people just line up, bring in their boxes of documents that they've held on to for years, or just like a little paper sack of documents that just need to shred. They just throw it in the truck, it gets shredded, and off they go. So again, a great service that we feel honored to be able to support.
And with like the branch in Berkeley and the branches in general that are like the larger branches, pneumatic tubes are still used to drive throughs or no?
Yes.
Okay. This is you can see the extent of my banking knowledge is just sitting in a passenger seat as a child.
Right.
That's good. And
And the screen comes on, so you can see who you're talking to.
oh, you can actually see.
Yes.
I was going to say that's no longer.
That's
it's not just like a phone.
advancement, I would
Very
think.
good. Okay.
Yes.
At Vibe, that's great. Okay. I know that in August in Berkeley, I believe it is the 19th, adjacent to the Woodward Dream Cruise is Cruise Fest. Now, we have a photo here. So what is your relationship? What's Vibe's relationship with the Cruise Fest?
Yeah, so on the far left is Darlene Rothman, the director of the chamber. We love her to death. She's amazing, and her team do a fabulous job of promoting businesses in the Berkeley area. And so every year, we support the Cruise Fest. We hold the Coffee Connect that morning to kick it off. So this was last year when it was held at our branch. And that was the new design T-shirt for last year. It was the anniversary T-shirt, so that was pretty cool. They featured the VW van there. So again, this year, August 19th, that Friday before the kickoff, we again will be hosting our Coffee Connect at our branch at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's when we have coffee typically. Not me, I don't drink coffee, but we will be there to welcome all those who would like to come and interact with the chamber and to get to know your fellow businesses.
Very good. Are there any other events during the year you can think of in Berkeley, the community, that we haven't, that you're involved with, that we haven't gone over? Various art festing and bashing and cruise festing and ribbon cutting. I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Those are the main ones I can think of in Berkeley at the moment. I don't. I mean, if I could pull up my calendar, I could share with you all the other events that we're doing. But yes, Berkeley is one of our really high value, loyal communities, and we just love having our branch there and meeting our members there.
So, as a community engagement specialist,
Yes.
what is the rest of your day? What is your typical week like? How do you engage the community?
Well, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So yes, the other day, Waterford and Clarkson Chamber did a joint networking event at the M1 Concourse in Pontiac. Have you ever been there?
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing,
Yeah.
right? Especially
Yeah.
for those car enthusiasts.
Right.
We are one of the sponsors of their young professional group in Waterford, and I had the pleasure of again presenting my How to Improve Your Credit Score seminar to them a couple years ago. And so Nikki is the director there, and she does a fabulous job of connecting our members to our community. So that was Wednesday night. And then we have Berkeley Art Fest this Saturday. And then next Wednesday I have a booth at the again, a joint chamber, multi-chamber event involving Novi Chamber, Southfield Chamber, West Bloomfield Chamber at the Novi Suburban Showplace.
Wow.
Again, networking and making sure that we connect with our
It's a heavy calendar. Wow. Good job.
Yeah, I one day this year I had a record of 7 events in 1 week. Sometimes I double up on a day.
Wow.
So it's a lot of driving around, but I don't mind.
Very good. Well, I'll definitely get you a water before you leave.
Thank you.
We only have a few remaining minutes, so people who want to get involved with Vibe Credit Union, where can they go? How can they find out more information?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, our website is vibecreditunion.com, and on there we have lots of great resources from our scholarships. For our graduating high school seniors every year, we bestow 10 $2,000 scholarships for graduating seniors every year. May 1st is the deadline. And so there is a spot on our website where they can apply and upload their transcripts and application for us to read over. And then we also have on there a spot where you can submit requests for donations. Like I said, we support all kinds of different organizations in the area, and this is one way that we can make sure that we get
So when you say, do you have to be a nonprofit organization to apply for that, or what's the criteria?
There is no criteria.
Oh, so you just...
We read them all.
Okay.
And we just have to look at a couple of different parameters on our side, of course, budget-wise, manpower needed, volunteers,
Sure.
If it fits in our mission of helping the community. So a couple things that we support this year are like the Great Lakes Hmong Association for their culture classes. That was a new one for me.
Wow.
And then in the past, I've been a part of the Council of Asian Pacific Americans, where I was executive director. We supported their cultural mission, diversity and cultural mission. 5K runs. Local schools, local nonprofit organizations submit their requests. So yes, that on our website is a place where they can go and submit all that information for us to review.
I had no idea. So, and not just banking and finances, but community events, community involvement.
Yes.
Vibe Credit Union. Well, thank you very
Absolutely.
much,
Yes.
Nakdo.
Thank you.
for coming in to Berkeley Local. Thank you for telling me about. Really quick, we have 20 seconds.
Okay.
What's your favorite paper bill denomination?
Well, it's got to be 100, right?
Okay. I was wondering, because at some point in the past, maybe in the 30s, when your credit union was founded, wasn't there a $1,000 bill? I'm not sure. Well, it's probably pretty rare.
Well, thank you. We invite your listeners to get connected with Vibe Credit
Sure.
Union, and we'd love to meet them.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.